Hey, welcome to Non-Perishable Goods Podcast. My name is Stacey,
And I'm Bishop.
and we are here to just spend some time with you today and tell you about, well, actually, it's just a topic that's been, I don't know, a lot of different podcasts have been speaking on it, a lot of tastemakers that have been involved in hip hop for decades are talking about ageism in hip hop. And what does that mean? So basically, everybody, a lot of people, the internet, the elders, the young people, like people have been saying that once you reach a certain age, you should no longer rap. Like you no longer should have a voice in hip hop. And like a lot of people have just been saying this, and it's been talked about because, hip hop is turning 50 this year. And, for one thing, it's hard for me to understand this conversation because I've grown up with hip hop. Like, we've never looked at hip hop as a young man's sport because we've grown up with it. You know what I mean? Like, we've always been there. Like from its inception, because I guess it started in like the 70s, and I got into it in the late 80s, and I'm sure you've been like, what was your favorite genre growing up? Like, were you always into hip hop?
Yes.
Because I know you're like a crazy super fan. Like, just to give you some background, like on Bishop. Bishop is a DJ. Bishop has like a great perspective for music. Like, he's always had like loved music with substance as long as I've known him. Like, he's kind of made me feel some type of way because I like the trap. I did. I like the goofy rap. I love the party rap. I loved all of that. But Bishop has always, you know, had a strong, I would say, foundation in hip hop. So, but you do have to ask. Like, think about it. Think about it. Because, like, I can't say that conversation is totally like nonsensical or irrelevant because it's a thing. Because as we were growing up, and if you ran into somebody from high school, right, and they were still rapping, and they did, and they weren't good, they weren't making any type of success, we would be like, they're washed. They need to stop rapping and get a job. Like, why did we believe this? Or why did we even fix our lips to even think that about people? Because now that hip hop has aged and that we're older, I feel like, what? I'm gonna rap. I'm gonna create beats for my whole life. Like, this is just who I am. This is what I do. So how dare you even think that, Like, we've been conditioned to believe that.
I haven't been conditioned to believe that.
Okay. So when you
Eh,
were younger, like, you never thought I would stop rapping or I should stop rapping at a certain age or anything like that?
no, I'm still doing poetry. I still plan on putting out a poet spoken word album.
Right. But now that we're older, I think we feel like that would be okay. But when we were younger, like when I was younger, I kind of felt like, or even now, like sometimes I would, because I do want to drop like another album. But there was a point maybe 10 years ago where I was like, oh, I'm too old for that. I
I
maybe
mean,
I should.
look at Jazzy Jeff. Like he's still DJing. Will Smith just came out with a album, a subpar album. The Clips just came out with the album. Raekwon, Slick Rick, LL Cool J. Um, now it's called unc-rap, right? Which I kind of dig. I kind of dig that because we are unks now. Instead of saying elder, because I don't know if that would be the right word to say, unless they're like 60, 70, like MC
Right.
Shan or something. Even
Hmm.
MC Shan just came out with like a diss. I forgot who he is dissing, but he just came out with a diss track. And he, I think he's like in his 70s and stuff.
Wow. See,
And
that's
KRS One still
crazy.
goes in. So it's like and that's my and I still listen to those people. I listen to all those albums, but I'm still in the zone of Griselda and Kendrick and you know whoever sounds good,
Right.
who
Because they
has
were
good
good.
content
Because
because they're good. Yes, because they're talented. So I don't. When I was younger, if when I heard people who were 10 years older than me, it didn't matter because they were, if you're talented, you're talented. Excuse me. If somebody came out right now, was like 60 years old and was, but let's take Pete and Bass from England. These are like some old retiree looking English dudes and they're white, but they're like on some mafia shit. It's like dope as fuck. They are spitting flames. It's crazy.
wait, but are they still in the lifestyle? Like, do they still live that lifestyle or are they
I
rapping
mean,
about that
dudes
lifestyle?
with they have dude with a cane. So I don't. Who knows? They might be like the big wigs. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they're portraying in the hip hop, in that hip hop, um, I guess universe, it's like on some gangster shit. And I believe them. I listen to. I mean, whatever they're saying sounds good. Even if they were like retired, you know, grandparents. It doesn't matter. It sounds good. So and they're doing shows and it's weird, but they got people listening to them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So they're I mean, look at Run the Jewels. Run the
Wait,
Jewels
wait,
can play
wait,
at
real quick, real
outlandish
quick.
festivals and still sell out.
Well, the Pete and Bass guys, did they start off as a young group?
I don't
Like,
think
have they?
so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I saw them on TikTok and I was like, who are these old dudes who are spitting like gangster bars like Freddie Gibbs and Griselda? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's interesting. Well, I mean, because that's one aspect of it is because I think you can stay in hip hop if you're good and if you connect with people. You know what I mean? I think that's just with anything, but like if they're still good and they're, of an elder age and they have a voice, then they should definitely.
Yeah, anybody can. Nowadays, you can do whatever you want because of DistroKid and you know Amazon Prime and Bandcamp. Everybody's putting out whatever they want, which is kind of detrimental to the system because there's no gatekeeping. And I think gatekeeping was there as far as like the machine and the record companies, the A&Rs. They were there to filter out the untalented. But now anybody can buy Pro Tools, anybody can get Reason and produce whatever without even it being mixed or mastered, put it on the SoundCloud and they become a SoundCloud rapper. I mean, most of these Lils, that's where they started and they all sound like each other. So
Right.
and they just need that one hit to cross over and then a record label will be like looking at their YouTube numbers and be like, oh, let me pick put this guy on the roster for like an album or 5 songs or something and see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But it's all YouTube, SoundCloud famous now. And it doesn't matter about the talent. It matters about the record labels are hurting so much they care about the views now. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing 360 deals so they can recoup on their investment.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, there's nothing. I mean, that I think the system has changed so that,
Since Napster.
there's not much even before then, because like you were mentioning the gatekeepers, because back in the day, that, did keep quality control over everything.
Well, Napster, I say Napster because now, people record companies were fronting like $1 million videos, right? Now all that money has been cut 50% because
You can do
we
it for
we were all
less.
file sharing.
Yeah.
LimeWire, Napster, you know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. We're file sharing. We're not paying for anything. And that's a big
Well, yeah, and they can't,
dent in record labels.
right, because they can't fund things anymore. But that,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that
now
definitely,
A&Rs and lawyers and are getting fired or let go or laid off. Record company execs. Now it's like one. Record labels are combining into one. Universal Records is gobbling up. Whatever record labels there are left. you know,
Yeah.
and it's like it became a free for all, and now they're like relying on the streaming services to I guess gain traction or monitoring and surveying how their clients are doing in the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because sometimes I wonder, like, what's happening in the music industry. Like, is that like the consequences of their actions of how they treated
I
artists
think so. I
back in the day?
karma, absolutely, 100%. Like all the times that they were like, it's a classic tale of not paying their artists right or not telling them the full money or how much they should be getting paid, not giving them their points, not telling them about end points, not giving them accountants or lawyers. Just having the bands and the groups go on tour and not telling them how much they're making because they're kids still and they just care about performing and having fun and having sex and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's like they're keeping them out of the loop. And now people like Mac Miller and I forgot that country western dude on YouTube. Like they're like taking the careers in their own hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have their own teams and keeping track of their accounts and points and money and advertisements and sponsorships and all that stuff. And they're making artists are making money outside of record labels.
Yeah, absolutely. They are. I mean, that's like the new system. And they lost a lot of their footing and their voice or their like it's just kind
Who
of
did?
like it's like a big slap in the face
Who did? The record
to
labels?
record labels right now.
Oh,
Like with, what's happening in the industry where, the artists can actually go direct to consumer
yep.
with everything. So
We don't need them
and
anymore.
and I also feel like the record labels, the taste gatekeepers, whatever, the industry shaped a narrative for hip hop that has been incorrect for so long. Just because the commercial music, the mainstream industry is different than the underground industry. So things are looked at differently. Like you know what I mean? You can look at things differently as far as this whole conversation about ageism. Like, I feel like the commercial music industry and the mainstream industry put that out there that, hip hop was such a young man's sport, but it's not, you know.
I don't think
It-
the record labels did. I think kids who don't understand hip hop because we regulate this, right? Like hip hop is a culture, right? It's the four pillars of hip hop, right? And
but it started off young though. But it
right,
started
but it started out as a culture though.
right. And
It
that's
started
that's
off
the
as
that's the thing. That's the thing. The mainstream took hold of the culture because there's two different things. There's mainstream and I feel like underground, like indie voice is more of the culture. And the record labels ruined the culture of hip hop. And by because a lot of the artists that they push are the young artists that are on like no substance. Like a lot of the, every generation from like the 70s, 80s, 90s and to now, like hip hop, I think in like our time, like the 80s and 90s, we had more types of hip hop. We had more subcultures of hip hop. We had the conscious rap, we had the awareness rap, all different, just different lanes versus like in the latter years, the what the mainstream industry pushed was like a lot of nonsense. And I feel like we have to like the culture of hip hop lost a lot of its voice and its narrative.
I agree with that 50%.
Mainstream wise, but the underground and indie artists like you, the ones you bring up all the time, like Killer Mike and Run the Jewels and all them who had like major success, but these the mainstream side of it because I feel like the industry has a duality and it's always had a duality. And I feel like you and I have always been kind of more in love with, the culture, the underground culture scene versus what the mainstream puts out there, which is the loudest voice, which has like dictated, I guess, hip hop globally on a global level because I don't know. That's just what I've been kind of like listening to the different conversations around this. I'm seeing that you have to look at it like in multiple ways to like really understand what is happening, because there's like, the commercial side, the sales side, and all those people who believe, sales dominate or say who's better or who's relevant. But then there's us who believe, just what you create and your voice and just doing it for the love is what is really what the culture is versus what I think the world thinks hip hop is today. And that's why there's a problem with ageism in hip hop.
Okay, I don't think there's a problem with ageism in hip hop. I think there's a problem with older folks scolding the kids because what they're doing is trying to catch up to the kids and they're letting them regulate what this hip hop is. And we as older statesmen have to say, no, that's not what it is. Now
Exactly.
there are young kids who are in the game that are spitting fire, like there's a
La
lot of
Russell,
there's a
yeah.
lot of I don't know
Mac
the other
Miller in his
Mac
prime.
Miller, yes, uh, rest in peace. But it's like other than that, like everything else is any anyone else who's calling it unc-rap and irrelevant, who says like Pusha T and or the Clips album is irrelevant and yada 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 and talking shit, aren't part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? And what is good right now is all these indie labels like Fool's Gold and Stone's Throw are still picking up artists just because they are good. It's not because they don't care about the age, they care about the appearance and the talent and what they're putting out. And all these artists 20, 30, 40, 50 are putting in work. And these
Mhm.
labels like, Def Jux and uh, whoever like are able to put out whatever they want, own records, like they're able to do whatever they want and get recouped by the shows and the videos and anything. I mean, look at MF Doom. Like MF Doom was in his 40s, still making music, and like he's the Michael Jackson of hip hop because every genre, every is a not genre, but every like generation is listening to MF Doom. Like
Mhm.
there's kids I used to work with, and I say kids because 20, 30 years old, 20 years old who have like MF Doom shirts or
Right.
making MF Doom, statues. Like I wore my MF Doom shirt there, and that's how we relate. 40 versus 20, we're talking about
It
MF
brings
Doom
you
and the
together.
history. And those kids know about KMD, you know what I'm saying? And that's before they were even born. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So those are the kids I are concerned about. That's it.
Right. Right. And I think what the industry is finding out and the real culture of hip hop is showing that as we age and as we grow older, the older artists are adding a voice to, or are a very relevant voice in hip hop still. Because like, was it Run the Jewels that just won a Grammy, or was it Killer Mike for his solo album?
Killer
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, that he's what, 48 and he won a Grammy for the best, I don't know, rap or hip hop or whatever, like the
Mhm.
last couple of years. And with all the success of, other artists that are dropping albums, like I just saw the other day, like you brought up Kwame. It was so funny when you told me that I saw the video, it popped up in my algorithm of Kwame's video. And I'm like, oh, this is good, and he's in his 50s. So it's like, I think the music industry has tried so hard to make hip hop something, but it's not. And I feel like hip hop is so powerful and so strong and so resilient that the true voice is starting to come out. And that voice is showing that, age doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how old you are. Like you still have a voice, you still have wisdom, and you still have something to give this industry. And they're also starting to see that in sales and in concerts and just in streams and everything. So And like with the generational thing, I definitely think that old people don't like young, like there's kind of like a reverse ageism thing because a lot of older people don't like what the younger guys are doing because we have had such a high standard of intellect and of bars and of skills and like we really understand, the importance of hip hop and value what it could actually bring and how it could actually steer kids in the right direction versus some of what like the younger guys are making now, which is, a lot of killing, a lot of goofy stuff, stuff that's doing
Negative, goofy
drugs.
stuff.
Yeah, like toxic, things that's not for the culture. Because you'll hear people all the time talk about, oh, this is for the culture, this is for the culture. And then you'll hear, oh, Drake's for the culture, oh, Kendrick's for the culture, and it's like, what culture are we talking about? Like,
Gang culture, street culture.
right. So like I feel like mainstream was pushing that, but once you age and once you grow older, you see that that is not life sustaining, like talking about those things because there's so many people are our young people are being killed. And I mean I do feel like music has a big influence over that.
Now it's worse because there's no filter, there's no gatekeeping. So now anybody off the street can
Say anything
say
stupid.
whatever they want and put it on SoundCloud and over the same beat,
Right.
over the same beat stems that every other rapper had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I appreciate the hustle, but the talent is just isn't there. But now
Right.
the talentless are able to rap. Like they're like when back in my day when I was in high school and college, being a DJ, I would always get CDs and idiots coming up to me asking, "Oh, can you play this?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And
I
they're like,
remember
"Oh,
these conversations.
I'm talking about, what I'm saying, the street shit." I'm like, "No, you got
Yeah,
any party
Bishop
shit
would
on here?"
not do it.
No. Even back then, and I was doing street shit. I'm just like, if you ain't playing club shit, this don't make no sense. Like, play this in your car, bro.
Right.
So it's
But
like,
okay, street shit could be cool if it's like making you aspire to get out of your situation. And I think like early street rap shone a light on what was happening in our communities, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like it was something that was glorified like it is today. It almost seems like that stuff is glorified in some of these younger rappers. And
I
that's
don't
where
know
the culture
because
lost. I feel like they lost the
I don't know because gangster shit has always been glorified. NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you know what I'm saying? The Bloods and Crip album, you know what I'm
But
saying?
as they
Ice Cube.
evolved, they changed. You know what I'm saying? They've changed their
Well,
ways.
yeah, because you grew up as a man, you
Right. And
know.
that's important, I think, in culture. Like that's the generational tie. Like the older generation needs to, reach back and like impart and share knowledge of life. And I mean, but when you're young, you don't really want to listen to your elders, but you should listen to your elders because it'll help you get through life. And you can still be cool and do all that stuff, but we need this elder voice in hip hop culture today.
And yeah, I appreciate anybody, like everybody I named who came out with the album. Slick Rick is 60. Raekwon is 55. Killer Mike is 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith is 56. Jay-Z 55. It's like, and they're still making money, and they
Mhm.
still can tour and make money. You know what I'm saying? If you listen, and speaking about growth as a young man, like or a young person, if you listen to Snoop's Doggy Style,
Mm.
to Snoop's Is It a Crime 2025 album, I mean, it's a big contrast, but it's still relevant, and he still sounds like Snoop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He sounds the same. You know what I'm saying?
He's evolved from everything though. He's you've been
Yeah, he's at reggae dance hall to
gospel,
gospel. So
trap,
yeah,
or
I
down
mean, he
south.
could do Snoop's a millionaire. He could do whatever he wants now, which I like.
Right. And
That's
then,
what I like
okay,
this.
okay, and I think that's why kind of we've been maybe possibly at some point conditioned to think that rappers age out and like once they get a certain age, like over 30, they shouldn't rap anymore. Because our blueprint, we saw Jay-Z go from street rapper to mogul. You know what I mean? And and that seemed like that was always the path. Like a lot of people wanted to start with, I'll do my rap, and then from rap, I'll get into TV shows, and I'll get a reality TV, then I'll get into movies, become an actor. Kind of Tupac as well. Tupac went that same route. And if Tupac would have lived, I mean, I think he would have got to the same level as like a Jay-Z, where, Jay-Z got into clothing with Rockaware, then got into his own labels, and then got into sports agencies and got into streaming with Tidal. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we were almost conditioned to, some of us were conditioned to not rap after a certain age. And even Jay-Z tried to retire at 33, but then came back with 444. And it was like a
A
banger.
banger.
But of course, the kids didn't like it because that's also the conversation. Beats. I think a lot of people in music have a problem with listening to some people, because there's the boom. Sorry, there's the boom bap, beats, production style, and production styles matter, and it's easier to digest certain things that you like or you're used to. Like right now, I feel like trap beats and samples and mashups are like dominating, you know? So I think music, the sound matters, and I honestly, like, looking at my niece and nephew, they're both in high school, but they love like our music, like our old school music. They love like the R&B. They don't necessarily like all of the hip hop, but they definitely like the R&B. But it's just, music is just so, it's subjective, and the preference between the generations, it's so interesting because like we talk bad about their music, and like our parents didn't like our hip hop, and but they took the responsibility to like show us their music. So like I think with this generation, we have to show them the good music, and then they would like it, because good music is good music. That's your argument,
Yeah,
right?
my biggest connect, which I find weird, is Griselda and that whole era, because Griselda are babies of Ghostface and Raekwon, right? With that sound, with their producers, with uh Conductor Williams and Derringer and Muggs and uh The Alchemist. Their sound is heavy samples, and if I feel like it, put a drum beat in, or just a bass drum or whatever, or no drums, And but when you go to a Griselda show, West Side Gun, Conway, Benny, whatever, it's packed with a mixed crowd, mixed
Mhm.
ages, mixed colors, and it's a full audience. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
promising.
So what is that connect there? You got gangster lyrics, and you got soulful samples, and once in a while on their albums, there's like some trap in there, which they
Mm.
sound weird on, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like 10 songs and one trap song. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But their niche is the samples. So you got
Mm.
Rock Marciano, who's probably, I think, in his late 40s or 50s, early 50s, like still making music. And he's like, he had a rebirth of his career after Flip Mode. You know what I mean? And it's amazing. He sounds great, and I love it. But it's all gangster shit.
Mm.
Freddie Gibbs can go have a whole trap album and then go back to Madlib, and then go to Alchemist and do two albums with Alchemist. And it's dope, but it's still cocaine rap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Pusha T, all his albums are is cocaine rap. You know what I'm saying? White nose rap. But we're still buying it because, I mean,
But are we
listen to the
maturing
beats on
though?
those albums. The beats are dope
Okay. And I think, okay,
with lyrics.
before I get to that, like, I think good music is good music. So, as even at our age, we're, I guess, middle age, like we still want to hear good music. We still have some feelings of, the things that kids are going through, possibly, or just revisiting different vibes. Um, but you do have to kind of ask. Cause like there's some hip hop that I just can't listen to anymore because it gives me a headache. So because of the topics and the content, like a lot of the murder rap, and I can't do it. So like I bring up the question of maturity. Like, is it okay for people in their 40s, 50s, 60s still talking about those juvenile type topics? Like to me, it doesn't, but I don't know. I guess everybody isn't are at different levels of maturity. But I don't think it's healthy for the culture to talk about those things when you're like more elder and you know the effects of those things that happen to your friends and your family and you're like still pushing that. I mean, I guess everybody could talk about and they free speech and say whatever they want. But if we're talking about culture, I don't know if that's like good for
I think
or authentic like that. I don't
I think
know.
more kids are relating to unc-rap more because they see in their hoods that the old school, like the unks in their hood are getting out of jail and still have that mentality. Like they just had this one gangster dude get out of jail, go back to the streets, do the same shit he did that made him go to prison,
It
and
went
then
right back.
he got smoked.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? So, but he was in his 50s. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And there's a guy who went to jail. Uh, thought people thought he got wrongly accused, and they got him out. He got a settlement, and he went back to jail because he was sweating some dude who owed him $200 or some shit, and he pulled a gun on him. Or I think no, he murdered him.
Hmm.
And that dude is like in his 50s. So it's like I think in the streets now, young cats are seeing. Oh, I mean, it's a detriment to our culture because
Right.
those guys aren't growing up and they're a bad example to our youth. Them, but it's like they understand. I think most kids in the hood understand that their unc their uncles are bad business. So it kind of makes sense if you still hear Jay-Z, Jadakiss, Fabulous, or Griselda still talk about gangster shit because it's still relevant in their circles.
Yeah. But I mean, like gangsta shit is kind of like a mentality or a way of life. Cause and then I feel like, the street stuff, like the killing of your brother or, somebody in your neighborhood. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know it still happens. I know it's happening in the hood, but I think I would just like to see older rappers. I guess that's just my preference is to like not glorify that part so much.
I mean, if that's been their lane, it's kind of hard to get out of that. Unless you, I mean,
But then it's not authentic if you're
there,
not, if isn't that the whole purpose of
I
hip
mean, but
hop?
were they
Well,
out there?
yeah, were they?
It's like
Were they?
it's
Good
like
point.
Nor. We all know, or most of us know that Nori put in work, right? Nori's been in jail. He's put in work. You know what I'm saying? He's been against he's had uh, gold records. You know what I'm saying? He's been all over the block. Now he's a podcaster. That's his retirement.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is he talking? Is he going to rap about that stuff? Was his last album talking about stuff? No, like he was talking about partying. I think no, well, probably was, but he still had more party like Afro beat joints, reggaeton joints rather.
Hmm.
But now he's a podcaster with a big, Drink
Yeah,
Champs
it's amazing.
podcast.
Super
You know what I'm saying?
successful.
But he's like one of the worst hosts, right? He's just one of the worst though. So, but
He's fun though. He's a vibe. He just talks a lot
well,
and
he
laughs
just
and drinks.
yeah,
Yeah.
he interrupts too much. But because he's in the industry, it just makes for a good podcast because he could be like, "Oh, remember I was at that party with get," you know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying he could ask those questions. But if he did another album, it would be weird because like, what are you gonna talk about your podcast or how you son like two different kids or like at the same time like what
Yes.
are you gonna talk about retirement? Are you gonna talk? What are you gonna talk about?
Anything, anything. But I think that's the thing. They don't think they could talk about where they're at in life currently. I mean, yeah, we're 45, 50s. We do still party. We still want to do those things. So, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent. But I mean, maybe when you go to the party, you're not like super coked up because you lost a lot of your homeboys to drugs and overdosing or
Yeah, I
substance
agree.
abuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like
I
you,
think you could do whatever you want. Like if you're Drake, Drake came out with a dance album and
loved
people hated
it.
it.
I
I
loved it.
loved it. That was
Yeah.
the first album and that album, the only Drake albums I like. But then he came out. I think the last album is we went back to business, right? I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to, yeah, but I didn't, yeah.
No.
Like
So
personally, I want Drake to mature past where he's at, but I don't know. I think his next album will be more introspective in a more mature Drake. Maybe.
let's hope so.
I know, maybe.
After getting spanked by Kendrick, but anyway, keep going.
Ooh, exactly. Exactly. And then even okay, speaking of, I'm always on maturity and even like with our I know it's a part of our culture, but like rap battles when we are tearing people down. I know that's a part of like our culture, like dozens and all that, but I don't feel that that is maturity. Like as we age, like I mean that's like a big thing to say. Like they might even take my black card for saying that. But it's like just think about it like this. Like that was, that started off when we were young. And like as grown men and you're still like attacking each other on like such a I don't know, disrespectful
Yeah, but
level.
they're in
I
their
feel like it's
thirties.
I feel like it's immature. No, I'm just saying even people that are older than that, even like on the underground scene that are like clowning. But the underground rap battle scene is more on it's definitely disrespectful, but it's more on skills and talent and being able to flow and put words and thoughts together and just attack an opponent. Like that's definitely awesome to see. But I just think on such a mainstream level of rap battles, to me, it's like immaturity. But I know men like to do
Yeah, I loved it. I loved
clown.
the whole thing.
Yeah, like men like to clown each other and do all that. But
It was good for hip hop.
was it though? Like we
Yeah,
lost,
absolutely.
man, Drake and
Kendrick
Kendrick.
got a Grammy out for that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
He got he
but
got to
taking
do the Super
down,
Bowl.
but yeah, but taking down and talking about another
Someone who disrespected
colleague
him.
or another exactly like that. It's immature. Like the whole
Is it better to do this or go physical?
but it was gonna get physical, and now it's in the courts. You know what I mean? So
Well,
it's
because Drake took it there
escalated,
because he got light skin on him.
right? Or he was just immature and
He got
just
signed.
or he knows the system
He got signed.
and he's working the angle to get paid because like
Yes.
that ruined Drake's career. I'm
You can't
sorry to
ruin
say
Drake's career.
that.
Only
Yes,
Drake can
yes, you
ruin Drake's
can.
career.
I mean, there's a lot of people
He did a
who
show in Germany in that same time frame, and it was a sold out crowd. What are we
right,
talking
right,
about?
right. No, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at the different forums online, Drake and Kendrick fans, it's a complete divide. It overtakes the whole scenario. But there's people like me who is like, I love Drake. I'll never stop messing with Drake. You know what I mean? Regardless. And I love Kendrick because he's awesome and he's amazing and he's an artist and he's a creative. He's just, top notch. But he also revealed Drake's true persona. And that is
As a what,
devastating.
pussy?
Yeah. And that's devastating to a rapper. That's all I'm saying.
That's on him. Drake can't be canceled or ruin his career unless Drake wanted it to be. Because Drake's too big. He's just too big. And
Yeah.
he can still do shows in America or across the globe and have it sell out.
Yes.
Nobody gives a shit.
Right. So
The
that
only people
shows
are
that
tripping is Black Twitter.
right. And so that shows that this is, I like somebody made a good point. Like this is just WWE then.
He still came out with
Like
an
if it's not
album
real,
during the whole fiasco, and I guess it did well, right?
what? He dropped some songs and they're trash to me. It's like, come on, Drake, I need you to elevate. I need you to mature because what you're doing, doubling down on what you were saying in the raps is not working. But yes, he has his fan base because Drake has been on top for almost 20 years. You know what I mean? So he's I don't care. He's the top. He's at the toppity tippity top. He's a top
You
tier
have to
rapper.
all you have to do is let this pass, like Will Smith slap, and then he'll be back,
No,
right
but
as
it's
rain.
hard. But it's hard to come back
It just
after.
takes time. It just takes time. It's not hard at all.
But even like, I mean, like for Will Smith's example. he has fan base and people are going to support him to the ends of the earth. But that doesn't mean that the album or the content is good. Like it's just really hard to come back after certain things because of I don't know, perceptions and knowing realities and just coming to terms that your favorite rapper isn't that guy that you thought he was. Like I'm just saying like
Nobody
it was
knew.
immature. Like to
Nobody
me,
thought that about Drake.
my
Everybody
biggest
knew
point,
Drake was fake.
huh?
Everybody knew Drake is not like hardcore. They know his background.
Right, but not even just that. It's like, dang, my favorite got spanked, like you said. My favorite got spanked publicly. And it's like
You gotta take the L's. You gotta move
secondhand
on.
embarrassment almost. But
He
like
could cry in his mansion and in his hundred thousands of dollars. He can
yeah,
in his Ferrari, his
right.
Escalade.
If he stopped today, he's good. He could go to sleep and never come back. Like Drake is good. And he could pop up and do a show whenever he wants. And like, but I don't know. I just think Drake is a great artist and great songs, and he's ruled and ran the party scene for years. And it just sucks that this happened to him, I guess, all over a rap battle in our culture. That's my point. Like it's this to me it's immature and
Okay.
hey. But that, yeah, so that's just totally my perspective. I'm not trying to change nobody's hearts or feeling because I know how important rap, battles are to our to rap to hip hop. So,
I mean,
but
right now is Omar Gooding did a three songs about Cameron,
oh, that's not going to end well for Omar
and Cameron got his own podcast, and all he's doing is going at him on
on the
his
pod.
podcast and calling him a donkey. But Omar Gooding, the actor,
Right. Like
has three songs on his Instagram about Cameron because Cameron said something about him being a D-list actor or something. So just because, I mean, where's the maturity in that? And then you're
it's not.
rapping.
It's
It's
not.
like
But it's
who knows Omar was a rapper?
right, but like this part, it's kind of WWE, I think more on Omar's part because he's probably trying to get some kind of publicity because we are in the awareness currency environment with the internet and social media. So, people do stuff for attention. So
Yeah, and
that's
then look how old
that's just the
Omar
industry.
is. Look how old Cameron is. Cameron still talking shit
Yeah.
to not still, but he has been talking shit. He's not because he isn't a punk. We're grown ass man at the end of the day.
Right.
So
But that
we
doesn't
go
mean
and talk shit instead of fighting with
yeah.
our fists.
Right. Yeah. And everybody's different, but to me, I just see a lot of stuff as immature. But I'm a totally different brain. You already know that. So,
I
and I
mean,
think,
nobody is completely mature, right? Just because you pay bills, got kids, you know what I'm saying? You got a house and a mortgage and shit, don't mean you're mature when it comes to
right,
personal shit.
right. But as a woman, I want a man that is like a man, especially if he's in his 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like 30s, you're still a little
You gotta
young.
be prepared to get disappointed in him because it don't matter. It's not the age don't matter when it comes
Right.
to your
Yeah, I
feelings getting
know.
hurt.
I know people who are in their 70s who are still very
Yeah,
immature.
when it comes to your feelings getting hurt, that's when the 20-year-old comes out.
Hmm.
Popping tires, fighting in bars, fighting on cruise
Yeah,
ships,
right.
fighting at Disneyland. Like it don't matter. Like
But that's emotional intelligence. That's maturity. That's all I'm
that's
saying. That's all I'm saying.
emotional instability.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't know. Like I don't if
But
people
nobody
should
wants to be disrespected. I mean, what do you do? Like if you feel disrespected, do you do you call them or do you go online to talk shit about them or do you
I
write a rap song about them?
I
When you're, you know what I'm saying? When
mean,
you're famous, what do you do?
we've seen all examples of that. And people have criticized. Like if people are going back and forth online or on Twitter, then that's like a whole thing and people are like making fun of that. And then some people will respond with a record and they're like, "Oh, why did he even respond? He's too big for that." Like, you know what I mean? So it just
Or the response is wag. This don't make sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like there's the best response sometimes is just to pray and give it to God. Because people are going to criticize and have an opinion and do whatever you want to do. But I mean, sometimes the petty does come out, but I feel like petty doesn't always have good results. Like people are going to look down upon you or are going to criticize whatever
Who
you do.
cares though?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who cares? But you just
Yeah.
have to realize there are consequences for every
People are
action.
going to have their opinions and they're entitled to their opinions. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what Twitter's for. That's what IG's for. That's what TikTok's for. Everybody wants to be a commentator and everybody got something funny to say or smart to say. And just let them say it. It's up to you. Like, is Drake on IG looking at all the responses? You know what I'm saying? Did Kendrick get it battery in his back because of TikTok? Like, what, like, how do they know what's going on in the outside world? You know what I'm saying? Because they're
Yeah.
still living. All still living. We're all still breathing. We're all still making money.
Yeah. Well, there's some people who don't look at TikTok and but then his friends might be snickering behind his back or they might be telling him. But I know there are people like major celebrities who just don't read social media because it's taxing on your mental health, you know?
All these people got money. They're good. Like if Drake did a show in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, it'd be sold out, regardless of what happened last year or this year. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. Like he's good. Will Smith, even though he came out with a Boo Boo album and nobody was dancing when he was at that, I think it was at New York. Like everybody was just like staring at him like zombies, like
Yeah.
because of his girl song. Like it doesn't matter. The boy's rich. He could do whatever he wants, right? So
Yeah. And the thing is too with that I kind of
first world problems.
right. Yeah, he's gonna be good regardless. But I mean, he's at the age like, I mean, you don't stop creating when you get like, well, how old am I? 45? Like, I still want to create all day, every day. Like, that's how I breathe. That's
And
where
you
I
should.
feel purposeful, you know? So he's gonna put out whatever he's gonna put out.
Look at the directors who are still making movies. There's no
Right.
ageism in directing.
Exactly.
Is there ageism in acting or
Exactly.
directing? Is there ageism in rock and roll or
Nope.
bossa nova
Nope.
or jazz?
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Did we say Miles Davis put the trumpet down? It's over. No,
Right.
we want
Exactly.
him to keep making music and have Robert Glasper work with him as well. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Keep
exactly.
making music. I understand like the whole thing about young guys looking up to older rappers is because of the gangster shit and the topics and stuff. But the street is a street and the poet is a poet. It depends on, it doesn't, it really, what you think of what they do is irrelevant. As long as they want to put out records and add to the art of hip hop, that's what really counts. Now, if they went in it to make money, to what I'm saying, to
Mm-hmm.
keep making money like they did in the 20s, that's the problem
Mm-hmm.
because that's not going to happen. Those days are over.
But they could make a living. They could make a
But you
living.
still can make a living. Like I
Yeah.
said, Jazzy Jeff still tours. He's good.
Might not
Premier
be the
Premier
limelight.
just Premier just made another collabo with this artist I've never heard of, but he just worked with him. And Alchemist too. Alchemist is working with Erica Badu now. Like he's on tour with
Okay.
her right now
That's crazy.
until September. So it's like,
Gotta go to
bro, like
that.
I gotta see how old
Yeah.
they're not doing any tours in California.
Right. It's
I
like,
already checked.
oh, okay. And then yeah, and like
Their last show is in
Rakim.
Houston.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's her hometown, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, like I didn't know one thing I kind of hate is that I didn't even know a lot of these older people had dropped albums. Like MC Light recently dropped an album. Like what?
Oh, Alchemist is only 47.
Yeah. See, and I love that you said only 47 because a lot of people will tell you that if you get over 25, you're old. But I'm trying to tell kids your whole life is after 25. Like everything, like 25 on down is
Why?
great. And
Because they're for frontal lobe, like because of
mm,
that.
no, just more, I don't, maybe, but a lot,
Why do you
people,
pick 25?
because just on the internet, what I hear, what I've come across over the years is that, especially even for women, like if we're over a certain age, we're not as desirable. There people always have their opinions about whatever. Like you're just too old once you get to Even with sports, like let's look at that. Like if guys are playing, football, baseball, once they get to a certain age, I mean, physically they can't compete on that same level. So that kind of makes more sense. But and just people how they feel about women. So once you get after a certain age, there's a lot of criticism. And even with the workplace, there's a lot of criticism. And it just shouldn't be that way. Because like as you age, you have more wisdom, you have more experience, you understand how to deal with people like on a greater scale than when you're younger. Like you think you have the world figured out, but you really don't. And that's why another reason why I think older artists have to create and have to put out albums. We may not hear about them, which I hate because, like I said, a lot of the albums you mentioned, I didn't even hear. I didn't even know they came out, and that's unfortunate. And I think that's the machine, and they just don't have, like, if you go to their Facebook pages, they probably don't have that many followers. So it's not in the algorithm enough, or they don't get enough reposts because that's literally because there's no money behind them. Like the industry's not putting money behind them because they're probably independent. So it's a little more difficult, but so I don't know. So if they have their
I don't
fan
know.
base,
Everybody, yeah, everybody I mentioned, they have at least over 100K
and you can
followers,
make a
and
living off of
yeah,
that.
exactly. So that's the fan base right there.
Right. Like so that's cool, but it just, I think what my heart feels is I just wish that it was different. Like I wish that, and I think it's going to change. I think it's going to change because, once you recognize a problem or people start talking about it, then things could like change. And now that people are having this conversation, I think that it's gonna, I don't know. I just think we're gonna take the culture back, the real culture. Like I think we could change it. We know we could change it through music. We know hip hop has changed lives through music.
What do you mean take it back though?
Take it back from what's considered mainstream. Like this has always been my desire and purpose is to make underground indie the mainstream. And I see it happening and it's happening
But what's
slowly.
mainstream though?
Well, what's mainstream is like what's chart topping right now. You know what I mean? Like the
But who
Megan the
cares about the
Stallions.
chart topping though?
Well, I know, but I'm just saying like those people are experiencing like crazy success. They have all the money, they have all the backing, they have all the support. And I'm just saying that if other people who have a voice with some substance and some wisdom, we could change the narrative of maybe the course of where our streets are or through the music.
I think if artists can make 100K a year and plus, then I think that's fine. We
Yeah,
don't need
but
to fuck the mainstream.
right, but the mainstream, that's where the voice is. That's where like that is what kind of dictates the masses or on a global level. People it does though, because they have more people. There's more followers. If people have never heard of Run the Jewels or that like their voice isn't gonna get out into the world.
Run the Joes is doing fine.
They're doing fine, but I'm just saying, like, if we're trying to change culture, because like it's like hip hop has duality. There's mainstream and there's underground. Where I feel like underground has more creativity, it's more in touch with a wider broad base of people versus the mainstream where it's more like just perpetuating toxic things that are happening within our culture, within like I would say black culture, or because I know it's global now, but hip hop, it's pushed by black folks, and a lot of the narratives are sex, drugs, killing each other, and that is what's topping the charts.
It's pushed by black people, but it's supported by everybody else.
I know because it's aspirational and
Well, I don't think it's
it's
aspirational. It
exciting.
just, yeah, it's exciting.
It's exciting and it's provocative and it's
Yeah,
fun and that's the younger
it is, and
crowd.
it's not cerebral. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't have to think about things. Like
Yeah, and nobody
when you're
wants to
listening to
think.
Kendrick or you're listening to, who's poetic, was like, I don't know, maybe KRS One or something. Like you might not get the lingo or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or you
yeah,
have to
it's
think, or it's
exciting.
deep, or there's
Trap is
like,
exciting and it's like tongue in cheek. And it's like almost like it's juvenile
but it's
and
actually taking
immature.
your brain and going like this and to your brain.
Yeah. But as a as a young person, your mind's already there. It's like
Yeah.
gullible. So it's like whatever the high mind's listening to. It's like when I was that age, I was listening to the Far Side, and everybody else would listen to like JT Biggerfigure and E40 and
Um,
McMahon. I was like, what? I can't understand it because I'm a silly nigga. Like I'm not a gangster nigga. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, then I started listening to that stuff. And I was like, okay, I get now because as I get
for sure.
adopted by the streets. Like I understand, I see that. So it doesn't mean I have to get
Oh,
into that. It's just I just understand it now. And some of it is it's good music. Like I'm a fan of the Click. You know what I'm saying? My favorite rapper is E40. You know what I'm saying? Well, it has been. So it's like but I matured that way into being able to consume it. You know what I'm
hmm.
saying? Because everybody else at that
But you won't
time,
mess with no littles or youngs. Well,
because
I guess,
it's horrible.
yeah, exactly.
It just is
It really is mind numbing.
it
It's
is
mumble
bad.
rap. It had its own like subgenre. It was called mumble rap, you know?
Yeah,
So
because
if
it
people
was.
like mumble rap, but it's hard to put that up against what we've grown up with. Like
I mean,
we've,
I'm listening to kids who are on drugs. I was listening to drug dealers. It's totally different. You know what I'm saying?
but it's still toxic. But I hear
But it's
you.
still toxic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
But I mean
But
that
still,
that
we still fucking bitches.
yeah,
We're
that's
all fucking bitches.
right, right, right. And I have my feelings on that. But so I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited about where things are going and that people are starting to listen to their elders, possibly. Especially are they, certain people are. And it's always good, I think, if the communication opens up more and there has been more collaborations. Like you mentioned one the other day with Slick Rick and Gigs, because all that does is brings generations together,
Which is a
shows.
horrible collaboration, by the way. But keep going.
I listened to the song and it was
It was
UK
bad.
it was UK rap. And I'm not a huge fan of
UK
UK rap.
rap is Lil Sims. That's my
Yeah,
UK rap.
right. I mean, and then that's the whole thing. It's like also, with this ageism and rap thing, is it really the age or is it just not good music?
It's just not good music. It has nothing to do with age. If Will Smith came
If
out
you
with a
get really
horrible
down
album,
to
it's
it.
a bad
Yeah,
album. You know
right.
what I'm saying? I didn't even like LL Cool J's album, even though it's okay, but it was wrong to have Q-Tip do the whole album. But I think Q-Tip should have did maybe five songs at least. He should have had a more, but it's a Queens thing, I guess. But it doesn't take away from LL's content. Like he's still on point. He's still LL. Still sounds like LL. It's a, as far as that concerned, it's a good album. If Boys to Men came out with an album now, would it sell as many records as their first album? No, but it's a be only
Because
because it's a
only because
different climate.
yeah, and they don't have the machine behind them with all the funding.
But it would still sell if we knew about it because the people who listen to them in their 20s are now older and have jobs and we have money. So if the CD or whatever
Or
you're streaming on was just $10,
a concert
we
mostly.
would we would pay for it.
Like
If you had a concert,
I would go
yeah,
see them
that
live.
part too. Concerts with like old school music is still selling,
Still popping. Yeah.
still
And that's how
popping.
artists make their money for the real.
You still have to have like 5 or 6 acts on it, but it's still popping. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I would even say if Kenny Lattimore did a show by himself at small places, it would sell out. If Raekwon went
He
and
is.
did
You know that, right?
if
Kitty
yeah,
Lattimore's on tour.
if
Yeah.
Raekwon, I know Kim was too. If Raekwon starts to do a tour to sell to promote this album, people are going to go. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter.
So
because
I
there's Raekwon fans all day, every day until
right.
we die. Because it's Wu-Tang forever. Wu-Tang's for the kids.
Yeah. So artists that are elder in their elder years, like, because even Andre 3000 said that he's done with rapping. He doesn't feel like he has a voice. He had I guess, an article with New York Times talking about it. So like, I just want to tell those out there, if you're listening, like, don't give up for whatever reason. But I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's another story. But don't think you don't have a voice and you're not relevant, like, or cool or whatever. Like, just do you. Just like, do you.
Yeah, because Kwame's album is going to be a fun album. I mean, he's going back to basics. You know what I'm saying? He's having fun. There's nothing. There's no reason to talk about how old he is.
Right.
You know
Because,
what I'm saying?
like, when we get older, we still want to have fun. Like, that's the thing. It's like life. I'm trying to tell people, like, young people, like, I never really planned out what would happen after 40. Like, when I was younger, I mean, you would be like, okay, 18, I'll graduate, I'll go to college. And then after college, I'll get married. And then after I get married, I'll have kids. And then that was pretty much the end of life by 25. Or you wouldn't have the rest of your life planned out. But now that I'm here at 45, I'm like, dude, I'm still young. I'm still active. I still feel good. I'm about to go travel internationally, and like, I'm still doing a lot of things. I still love music. I still like creating. So there's a lot of life
That's
left.
the biggest thing. The biggest thing here for with ageism is we're letting the young kids dictate the culture, and they
Exactly.
shouldn't dictate anything.
They don't know much.
They don't know anything. They should be dictating their own lives and trying to survive. Like we are the elders. We make the rules. We are gatekeeping. We are setting and moving the goalposts here and there and everywhere. So we should maintain this culture and keep it alive and stop trying to feed a machine that hasn't even had their whole brain developed yet. It makes
Right.
no sense at
Yeah.
all to
Yeah.
try to please children when we
Right.
already have the culture and the rules established. Don't stop changing the rules because you're trying to sound like young or you're trying to hold on to your childhood or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I just heard a Benzino do a track over some trap and it sounds horrible.
Oh my
You know what I'm
Lord.
saying? 50 Cent was talking shit about him on Too
50
Sweet.
Cent needs to
So it's
chill.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. You know what I'm saying? Go back to the boom bap. I mean, you could do it, like Stacey said, you could do whatever you want, right? You're older, you're grown, however you
Yeah.
make your money, whatever you want to talk about. If you want to be like Jim Jones and still talk about the streets and Pyro, do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, don't let anybody, especially some fucking 16-year-old, dictate if you should or not or should not.
Yeah, because
You know what I'm
I
saying?
want a album from Andre 3000. Been wanting an album from Andre
We
3000.
all we all want one
A
that
rap
doesn't have
album.
a flute or a piano.
Right, a rap album.
Let's hope that the next album doesn't have bongos and it's just all percussion.
And he has other musicians on the album
Yeah,
contributing.
let's hope it's like a live album with him like doing rap and poetry, cause
Right.
like he does, and let it be that.
And I think that's a thing too,
He can
because
have a flute solo in the middle of the verses if he
right.
wants.
Yeah, if he wants. But let's see. Yeah. But I think that's kind of a progression of it too, or a evolution for some of us is like, I don't really call it rap no more. I'm gonna do like spoken word poetry,
Yeah,
you know?
whatever.
Yeah. Like I that's kind of
I'm
interesting.
still writing, and I really thought I would stop, but it's just like in me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still writing poems. I still think about lines. Even at work, I got my notepad. I'll just be writing the line down so I don't forget and go on with my day. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't stop because it's like you said, it's in me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm part of the culture, and I'm glad I'm part of the culture, and I'll never ever like retire out of it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like,
Until I
it's
die.
who I am. Like, I can't change that. And I think a lot of people are realizing it now that we're older. And it's like, looking back, it's like, this is who I am. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna stop being
In
who
my
I
own
am.
way, I put too much work into it, even though you haven't heard
Okay, you
none of
don't
my
know me.
music. You know nothing about me. You don't know me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I've put
Exactly.
in a lot of work in my city. or cities, and and I loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Okay, well, let's end it on this, like, the whole idea, or what you think. I'm curious to see your response. Like my whole idea of like duality, there's the mainstream and then there's underground. Like I feel like it's two different worlds completely. And I feel like one, art imitates life. So I feel like that's like the underground world. And then life imitating art is more like the mainstream world, where it's like not really authentic. I don't know. I that just kind of came to me like as I was doing my research.
I don't think that's necessarily correct. Mainstream can make money off of authenticity. That's why those people are picked up. Like you said, Meg The Stallion, she was busting before she got picked up, but now she got picked up. Did her music suffer? Did she still have bars? She still has bars. She's still
She
talking the same
does.
shit she did when she first
Yeah.
started. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't change her.
But
That's how
she's
she made
actually
money.
good though. But she's actually good because there is a lot of nuances because
So
there
is Nicki.
are because like Anderson .Paak, you know what I'm saying? Like he
Oh,
was yeah, like he
that's our
came from
claim
the
to fame,
underground.
man. Yeah.
He came from the underground and he took over the mainstream. So there are certain people who slip through that, but I don't really want to name people because I don't like talking bad about artists, but there's some people that are in the mainstream and it's like, how? How do you have this much commercial success?
Because of the
Like,
machine,
exactly.
because of money.
And they're not even authentic. So that's why I say they're just creating to the trends.
Well,
It's not really who they are.
there's duality in duality, right? There's a tree has many branches, right? So in the mainstream, you have the authentic and you have the manufactured. You know what I'm saying? And each one came up behind money
Yeah.
because that's what the mainstream is, right? Money makes mainstream. So
Hmm.
you're going to have your bad apples and you're going to have a few good apples. Nikki and Megan just happen to be good apples.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And the culture is still alive on the underground. It's
Well,
there.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's never going anywhere as long as the kids are listening to real shit and buying vinyl and being DJs and you know spreading the word, the gospel, the hip hop gospel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And we
saying?
have
It's
to
not going
like
anywhere.
yeah, like we have to, I think, impart in them like what's good and what should last. Because that's just how life works. It's like generational. And then, like, because I remember my uncle, he put me on to a lot of jazz. My mom and dad played a lot of records for me of their music. So it's like music is a generational thing. And that's just how we all kind of like connect and grow together.
Look,
So,
vinyl is was selling more than CDs at a time. And who was buying all that vinyl? It couldn't be just me and the other DJs. Like the kids are buying the Crowley turntables from Urban Outfitters and they're buying the Taylor Swift vinyl and stuff like that. Like they're
yeah.
going back to basics with the headphones and being on your back on the floor listening to a, a vinyl,
And looking at the liner notes,
looking at
like,
the liner notes. Yeah,
that's like the best thing. Like I was so sad when MP3s were trying to take over because I was like, where's the credits? I can't read the credits anymore. Like it kind of sucked. And then they finally started adding credits to like the streaming platforms.
yeah. Prime does that with credit and X-rays and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So that's why
so
I always read credits. Cause I'd be
yeah.
like, who produced this motherfucker?
Right, exactly. Like we really love this. It's just in us. So I don't know. But anyways, any last thoughts or last words about anything? Anything you wanted to touch on that we may not have
No,
missed? Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and our social media on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.